Hello, everybody. I have 3 dreams to share. We'll get right into it. Um, the first one I had just years and years and years and years ago, and it was right after I'd had my first child, and I dreamed that I was driving in a car, and the sky was on fire, and it was raining fire, and I had my first child, baby, in the car seat, and I was driving trying to get to my mother's, and there was all this fire raining down out of the sky. And I remember thinking, in the dream, I'm thinking, this has got to be the end of the world. This has got to be the end of the world. And then the dream ended. Sorry about the lights. So that was years and years and years ago, and I had that dream, and I thought it was odd at the time. Didn't think a whole lot about it. So the second one I had has been fairly recently, maybe about a couple months ago. And let me preface this by saying that I raise my granddaughter, and she's involved in she wants to be a police officer, so she's involved in a youth group at the local sheriff's department, where they take teenagers and they teach them basically how to be police officers. They put them through like training camp, and they go to competitions with other counties that have the same programs, and they give them uniforms, and they teach them how to do the law from a police officer's standpoint, how to stop, for traffic stops, and handle domestics and handle people. It's a really, really good program. There's a lot of really good mentors in this. So they travel to competitions, and in order to travel to these competitions, they use school buses. Well, a school bus like thing, and it's got the name of the sheriff's county name on the side, as well as the name of the organization on the side. It's yellow, looks like a school bus. So the dream opens, and I am in this warehouse kind of deal, and there are a lot of people milling around. There's a few cars in there. I'm thinking it's got to be maybe a tactical warehouse, where they, teach tactical maneuvers and this kind of thing. This is what I'm thinking. And there's I'm sorry, the dog is over here barking. There's the school buses. There's a lot of people milling around, a couple cars in there, and I'm standing there, and I'm doing my something, I don't know, pertinent activity directed towards whatever is going on at the moment. I'm doing something. And I glance up at the bus, and I see my granddaughter, and she's sitting at the window of the bus, and she's staring at me, and she's got a very solemn look on her face. She's not smiling, she's not waving, which is her normal self, but she's just looking at me. She's got a very solemn look on her face. And so I glanced back, and I'm like, getting everybody on the bus. Okay, everybody, let's go. And then other people started getting on the bus, and I'm like, wait a minute, who are all these people that are getting on this bus that I don't know? And they're like, okay, everybody on the bus, but I couldn't get on the bus. I couldn't get on the bus because they had put other people on the bus, and I didn't understand that. And I couldn't get on the bus. And the dream ended. I got left behind. Okay, so I had that dream. And at the time, I knew exactly what it was and what had happened. This one just occurred recently, and I was standing in I guess maybe a field or a valley. We call it here in the South hollers, and what they are is it's the place where you're not at the mountains yet, but you're not in the flatland yet. You're just kind of in the hilly part, getting ready to go up to the mountain. It's kind of like a valley, maybe, sort of. And so I'm standing in this valley, and there are thousands of people, thousands and thousands of people. But the shape, the way the people are standing is odd. It's like a V shape, and I am standing. If you can take a picture, a rectangle, I'm standing at the extreme right side of the picture, one person, and then from me it goes out into like a V, and so I'm at like the point, the top of this V, and then it spreads out, and there are thousands, and I don't even, maybe millions. I don't know, and we're standing there, and this is all very quick, and we're standing there, and I notice the mountains, and then all of a sudden the sky starts to get cloudy, and then the sky starts to get really angry and mad, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not right. Something's wrong. And I'm looking at the sky, and everybody is looking at the sky, and it starts to roll. The clouds start to roll, and it's black, and it's gray, and it's nasty, and it's ugly, and there's a little bit of lightning in it, but the lightning's kind of an odd color. It's not like white, it's like red. And all of a sudden it kind of calms down just a little bit, and there is Jesus. But the only part you can see is like from his shoulders up, and it's like he's coming toward you. He's coming towards us, and I knew exactly what it was. This was it. This was the rapture. This is it. So I threw my arms up in the air, and everybody threw the arms up in the air, and we're all like, it's Jesus, it's Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And then I see his face, and his sweet little face, and it's just like still coming kind of towards us. It's getting a little bit larger and a little bit larger, and this is not slow motion. This is like really quickly, and then all of a sudden this blue beam of light shines straight down, and it's you can see through the light. It's like a glass tube or something you would see in Star Trek or something, but it was blue, and I saw it come down from the sky straight down. It wasn't at an angle or anything else. It came straight down, and it hit me first and came directly over and above me. And I was at the top of the pyramid, remember? I was that one person at the top. And so it hit me, and I remember the feeling so vividly. It was like just immersing yourself in warm bath water. It was like, it was just wonderful, but it was just a split second. And I had my arms up, and then it went away. And then it started going from person to person to person to person to person to person. And it was so quick that it was like almost like a strobe light, or even quicker than that. It went through all these thousands and thousands of people, and everybody was yelling, Jesus, Jesus. But the minute the light left them, they were silent, because they knew, what have I been left behind? Did I just get left behind? And so we're watching this beam of light, just click, 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 click on all these people. And then we all look, and we see way out in the distance, we see a ball of light come up from the people. One ball of light. And I looked at the person next to me, and I said, you mean to tell me that only one person out of these thousands and thousands of people made it? One? I mean, there must be thousands, maybe millions of people here. And before I could even think to say anything else, or they could answer, The next thing we see is these things flying at us. They were humanoid, they had wings, legs, arms. Um, they weren't black, they were kind of a bronze color. And they come flying at everybody. And so there was a guy behind me and he said, "Come, everybody come on over here. I have a van. Get in the van, get in the van." So we ran over there really quick. We piled into his van and we locked the doors, and they were landing on the van and hitting the van and trying to break into the van to get to us. And there wasn't any screaming. There was just terror, just the silence of absolute terror. And one of them was trying to punch a hole in the roof of this van, and it did. And I looked up, and you could see this eye, and it was looking down through the hole to see what it could see inside, I guess. I don't know, but it was looking down through that hole. And I remember it wasn't a human eye. It was a snake eye. Yeah, it was a snake eye. And so somebody threw me this gun, and I'm like, gun? And I looked at it. It was a BB gun. And I'm like, a BB gun? And yeah, this is happening so fast. And so I just shot right up through the hole. But this is me. Everybody calls me G.I. Jane, but this is so me. But I shot up through the hole these BBs, and I just kept firing these BBs off into this hole, into that thing's eye, and it didn't do anything. No weapons, nothing was going to save you from these things. Nothing that man has was going to save us. And then I woke up, and I'm like, oh boy, I'm still not going. So moral of story here. One, when you get a dream from God, you know it's a dream from God, because you remember every single solitary second. You remember every breath you take. You remember the colors, the sounds, every second, everything, as opposed to other dreams that you might have, where you get up and it wakes you up, and you start thinking about it, and literally 10 seconds later it's already starting to fade from your memory. But these are different, and if you've ever had one, people will know what I'm talking about. It's like the very first one I had of the fire in the sky raining down. The very first one. It has been, I don't even want to think how many years. I'm dating myself. But it's been so many years, and I still remember every vivid second and sound and smell, everything from that dream. So all I can say is this, is that Jesus is coming. There's just no two ways about it. He's coming. And whether you want to believe it or whether you don't, you need to start trying to wrap your head around this, because Jesus is coming. And you don't want to be left here, because what I saw, nobody can survive it. The Bible's right. You're not going to live through it. It doesn't matter how many weapons you think you have, or if you're underground or whatever. You're not going to survive. You're just not. What I saw, there's no way. You're not going to survive it. But aside from just not wanting to survive it, you want to go, and you want to go because you just want to feel that warm feeling I felt, that security, that warmth. When that light hit me, it was, you want to go and you want to be with Jesus. And you want to feel safe and secure and loved, and you just want to be with Jesus. So what I've had to do is just really sit down by my own self, all alone, and sit down and really try to work out, what is it that I'm missing here? I am missing something, and I prayed about it, and I've hit on a few things. And the thing that I can tell you is this: when you're reading your Bible and Jesus says, you need to do A, B, C, D, and E, he might really be adamant about A, B, and C. But D and E, He tells you you have to do it, and then he just kind of moves along. And so since he doesn't put that much emphasis on it, you kind of feel like maybe I shouldn't. Okay, I'm going to listen. I know I need to do it, but maybe I don't need to put as much emphasis on that. Wrong. It's those little things that you think that are not important, that are important, because every single thing is important to Jesus. Everything. And that's the best advice I can give you right now. This is what I'm finding out. The smallest things, but it's obedience. If he tells you to do something, no matter how benign and minute it might sound to you, don't put that thing on the back burner, because that's just as important as the great big large big clunky thing that he just threw at you and knocked you over. So anyway, so I'm going to go work on myself, and everybody go work on yourselves. And I love you all, and God bless you all. Have a good evening, and I'm sorry about the camera moving around, but it is what it is. Night, night, everybody.